Cyclical flowing and distribution of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang. Hello everyone, today we are going to learn gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang. The cyclical flowing and distribution of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang was recorded in Huangdi Neijing Ling Shu. This paper not only talked about the cyclical flowing and distribution of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang, but also recorded the syndrome of the meridian of foot Shaoyang. It became the important basis for us to learn about gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang and use this meridian. What's the detailed cyclical flowing and distribution of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang? First, let's conclude basic information of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang. Based on the knowledge of general introduction of meridians and acupoints, gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang is the 10th meridian of 12 regular meridians. It takes the qi and blood of triple energizer meridian of hand Shaoyang and transmits the qi and blood to liver meridian of foot Jueying after running. Therefore, this meridian is after triple energizer meridian of hand Shaoyang and before liver meridian of foot Jueying. Gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang is the yang meridian of foot. According to the characteristic of the circulation distribution of the yang meridians in the extremities, we can know that gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang is distributed in the lateral part of the lower limbs. And because this meridian is Shaoyang, gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang is distributed in the lateral middle part of the lower limbs. According to the direction of the 12 meridians, the 3 yang meridians of foot run from the head to the foot. As one of the 3 yang meridians of foot, gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang goes from the hand to the tip of the toes. From the name of the gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang, we can know that this meridian belongs to gallbladder and links with liver, which is external and internal relationship with gallbladder. Above is the basic situation of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang that we can grasp according to the general theory of the meridian. What's the detailed cyclical flowing and distribution of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang? Then, we will learn the cyclical flowing and distribution of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang specifically. The ear branch of triple energizer meridian of hand Shaoyang takes the qi to the outer canals and gives it to gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang. Gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang starts from the outer canals, ascends to the corner of the forehead, curves downward to the regular vascular region. In this circular distribution route, gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang made a number of recurrences at the site of lateral head with hair growth. This makes the full circulation distribution of the meridian qi in the lateral head. The gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang runs along the side of neck and shoulder, goes down to the supravascular fossa. Gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang has many branches. First, the ear branch. Gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang spreads a branch when it gets to the vascular region. This branch stems from the vascular region and enters the ear. Emerging before the ear, it runs to the posterior aspect of the outer canals. Besides, gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang spreads an eye branch. It stems from the outer canals and runs downward to Daying and gets to the infraorbital region. Then, it runs over Jiache and descends to the neck and enters the supracranial fossa to meet with the main trunk of the meridian. Then it further descends into the chest, passes through the diaphragm to link with the liver, and enters gallbladder to which it penetrates. Running inside the hypochondrial region, it emerges from the lateral side of the lower abdomen near the adrenal at the injury region. Finally, it runs superficially along the margin of the bones and goes transversely into the hip region. This is the branch which spreads from eye region and enters into the body. This is a supracranial fossa branch goes along the chest. We called it supracranial fossa strand going branch. It runs down forward from the supracranial fossa, passes in front of the axilla along the lateral aspect of the chest, and through the free end of the floating ribs to the hip region, where it meets the previous branch. The meridian chi covered at the hip region. Then it descends along the lateral aspect of the thigh to the lateral side of the knee, and goes further downward along the anterior of the fibula all the way to its lower end, reaching the anterior aspect of the malleolus. Finally, it runs along the dorsum of the foot to the lateral side of the tip of the fourth toe. The last branch of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang stems from the dorsum of the foot and runs between the first and second metatarsal bones to the distal bottom of the great toe, and ends at its hairy region and links with the liver meridian. This branch is called dorsum of the foot branch because it stems from the dorsum of the foot and links with liver meridian of foot Jueyin. Let's review the cyclical flowing and distribution of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang. Gallbladder meridian starts from the outer canals to the corner of the forehead, makes the number of recurrences at the side of lateral head, finally reaches the supracranial fossa. Gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang made a number of recurrences at the side of lateral head with hair growth, making the full circulation distribution of the meridian qi in the lateral head. It's necessary to distinguish the gallbladder meridian from the triple energizer meridian when mastering the clinical flowing and distribution of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang in the lateral head. Triple energizer meridian of hand Shaoyang goes along the occipitalian skin without hair. Gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang goes along the side of lateral head with hair growth. Ear branch of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang stems from the vascular region and enters the ear, emerging before the ear. It runs to the posterior aspect of the outer canals. Gallbladder meridian of Shaoyang spreads an eye branch from the outer canals. It passes by the infemoral region, neck, and enters the supracranial fossa, and further descends into the chest to link with the liver, and enters the gallbladder to which it penetrates. Finally, it runs superficially along the margin of the bones and goes to the hip region. There is a supracranial fossa branch goes along the chest. Besides the branch in body, it runs downward from the supracranial fossa, passes in front of the axilla along the lateral aspect of the chest, and through the free end of the floating ribs to the hip region, where it meets the previous branch. Then, it descends along the lateral aspect of the thigh of the lateral side of the knee, and goes further downward along the anterior of the fibula all the way to this lower end, reaching the anterior aspect of the external margins. Finally, it runs along the dorsum of the foot to the lateral side of the tip of the fourth toe. The last branch of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang stems from the dorsum of the foot and runs between the first and second metatarsal bones to the distal portion of the great toe, and ends at its hairy region, and links with the liver meridian. After learning the cyclical flowing and distribution of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang, we can know that this meridian belongs to gallbladder and links with liver. Besides, gallbladder meridian links with the ears, eyes, and diaphragm, especially the ears. Gallbladder meridian runs not only along the posterior border of the ear and enter into the ear, and it passes by the lateral head, neck, shoulder, side ribs, and the lateral lower limbs. We learned to master the cyclical flowing and distribution of gallbladder meridian of foot Shaoyang, which laid a theoretical foundation for us to use it in the clinical treatment of syndrome definition of meridians and acupoint selection in the future.